saying, but let's wish them luck. Much more online. It's coming up to 3 minutes past 7.
Midweek Sports with Lucas Yeomans.
BBC Radio Stoke.
Judge, goal! The cheekiest of finishers!
On the half volley laces.
It's scrappy, it's messy, it's 1-0. I'm all of a shake.
The big night is upon us. We are 1 hour away from Port Vale against Premier League Arsenal. You'll be able to hear tonight's game on all frequencies here on BBC Radio Stoke and on 5 Live Sports Extra 2. And the team news is in. Phil Bowers.
It's 4 changes for Darren Moore as his team take on Premier League giants Arsenal in what could be a famous night at Vale Park. The big news is captain Ben Garrity and top scorer Devante Cole have both dropped to the bench, as well as George Byers. Liam Gordon misses out through injury. Ronan Curtis starts against his boyhood club alongside Rory Payton up front. Jaheim Headley is at left wing back. George Hall is handed a first start as is Reece Walters in midfield. Arsenal tonight are captained by Bukayo Saka and find places for Kepa, Saliba, Marino, Eze and Martinelli. It could be a long night, or it could be a night that history is made.
If you want to send your thoughts, Vale fans, and I'm sure you do, ahead of tonight's game, here's how you can.
Call 0800 121 8080. Text 81333. Start your message with the word Stoke or find us on social media.
BBC Radio Stoke.
Right, strap yourselves in. Here we go. Vale Park, less than an hour now until kick-off. How are you feeling, Vale fans? I've been speaking to a load of them ahead of the game tonight. Many comparing it to Christmas Eve last night, and today being Christmas Day. And let's hope it is a day of celebration for Vale fans. Regardless of the result tonight, it is one that is going to be full of fun and a great atmosphere. As has been mentioned already, it is going to be a sellout crowd here at Vale Park. They're going to bring the noise. It's going to be something that I think many Vale fans will remember long into the memory as all corners of Vale Park start to fill up. As Sam Fletcher mentioned in our hours build-up at the Vale Park fan zone a moment ago, that was overflowing with Vale fans. So I imagine they're all going to, some walk in, some stagger in to tonight as the Arsenal goalkeepers, I'll say that again, the Arsenal goalkeepers, David Raya and Kepa Arrizabalaga, make their way onto the Vale Park pitch. Goodness me. Should we get a rundown of the teams? Phil Bowers, you can tell us the Vale team and then we'll talk Arsenal.
Yeah, let's start with the Vale team, shall we, where we should be doing tonight. Well, the big news is that Devante Cole's 3 goals in his last 3 games is dropped to the bench tonight, as is captain Ben Garrity and George Byers, all of whom started on Saturday at home to Mansfield in that 2-1 win. There are 4 changes, the other one being Liam Gordon, who misses out through injury tonight. So in come Reece Walters into midfield, Jaheim Headley at left wing back, Ronan Curtis up top in place of Cole, and George Hall is handed his full debut at the, if you like, spear point of the midfield. The Vale team in full. Joe Gauci will start in goal. Then it's Cameron Humphreys on the right of a back 3, Jesse Deborah in the middle and Connor Hall on the left. Then Jordan Gabriel on the right at wing back, Jaheim Headley at left wing back. Both Ryan Crosdale and Reece Walters will sit in with George Hall just in front of them, and then it's Payton and Curtis up front. Do you want to be worried about the Arsenal team?
I'll tell you what, before we talk Arsenal, Phil Sproson, I'm going to come to yourself. He's alongside Phil Bowers on commentary tonight on all frequencies. The Vale team's first things first. What's your thoughts? There's more changes than I was perhaps thinking he'd make tonight. What about you?
Well, obviously Devante Cole is the big talking point that, I could understand him possibly don't want him to pick up an injury on such a big occasion. You want your best players out on the pitch at every opportunity, but you have to temper that by the fact that Devante scored 3 and 3. We want that continue in the league, and if he were to pick up a knock tonight, that would be a really a blow to what Vale are trying to do in the league. So I can understand that. Garrett's similar. We struggle with injuries, as we know. Only just about getting back to something like himself. If he was to get another knock, a setback, then he's out for another 3 to 4 weeks. You want your players in you, but I think it's not a bad Vale side, to be fair.
Not at all.
Not at all. I don't think, you could over-criticise him for that. I think that, that I like the look of the midfield three anyway. I think what a great night it is for young Reece Walters to play against high-class midfield players. It's obviously showboating for him as well, an opportunity for him to show other... And obviously a great one for Port Vale as well, because if Reece Walters shines tonight like he did down at Birmingham, Vale are going to have problems holding on to him come the next window or the window after that. And, that's got to be taken into consideration as well, that if Walters can obviously play well this evening, then that goes in his CV going forward. He's only a very young player, so that's there. Crowsdale is the workhorse, as we know. Hall is an exciting one, came off the bench and did really well. He's one for the future as well. Gable down the right, he's going to give you, going to be solid down that right-hand side. And Headley as well, he's no stranger to playing in games like this. He's big and strong as well, so yeah, it's set up. I think the Vale have just got to understand that they really have just got to try and stay in the game as long as they possibly can. That is the key, not concede very early and give Arsenal a cushion of being able to have 25 passes before we get a touch.
Well, that's the Vale team. Small matter of the Arsenal team. Reserves, Phil?
Not quite, Lucas.
Oh,
not
dear.
quite. Their under-21s played in the Football League Trophy last night, so this is pretty much a strong Arsenal team. In goal is Kepa Arrizabalaga, formerly of Chelsea and Bournemouth. Then Ben White is at right back. Then William Saliba and Christian Mosquera will play at centre-half, with Miles Lewis-Skelly at left-back. Then three in midfield. Christian Norgard, Ethan Nwaneri and Mikel Merino will play in midfield. And then up front, it's nothing much to be worried about, I don't think. Nothing at all. Bukayo Saka will captain the team on the right. Eberechi Eze will play on the left. And Gabriel Martinelli, who only went and scored against Man City at the weekend, is through the middle. And on the bench, if you wanted worrying anymore, David Raya, Gabriel, the centre-half, Jurien Timber, Victor Gyökeres, 90-odd million of him, Leandro Trossard, Ricardo Calafiori, Martin Zubimendi, 15-year-old Max Dowman, and then £105 million worth of Declan Rice, who can't even make the team to play the Vale.
That's the first time hearing the Arsenal bench, actually, and that is, like the starting 11, very, very strong. Phil Sproson, I don't normally get to react to the away sides of the opposition's team news, but I'm going to have to ask you, what do you think to that then?
Well, to be expected. I think that Arsenal, I've got a good friend who's a gunner, and like he has said, they haven't won anything yet. So, I would think that they have to go strong to get through every round, and I think it's a mark of respect from the manager to come here and put some high-class players out in front of Port Vale. And I think it's a great opportunity for the Vale lads. But you're looking at the Arsenal side, yes, there's some great players in there, and there's some internationals, and they cost an awful lot of money. But, as John McGrath used to say, that they've got two arms and two legs, and that's it. Yes, they are. You expect them to play well because that's what they are. There's nothing out there that's going to become as the unexpected. They are high-class players. They're going to move the ball very quickly from the back to the front, and they're going to make runs that the players probably haven't been used to for a number of years, and they're going to catch them unawares. But having said that, every ball is fallible. At the end of the day, they can be beaten.
This is a very exciting occasion for the Vale fans that are coming here tonight, isn't it? It is one that is going to be memorable, no matter what the result really. This bit now is what they're all going to be talking about tomorrow and the days that go by.
Well, it's the build-up. It's the whole 48-hour build-up to this game, and Vale fans will have been excited about Arsenal coming into town, and why not? Because it's not every season that you get a club like this to come out. So, it's one to savour. I'm glad that the Vale have gone quite strong in their side as well, and Arsenal have gone very strong. So it's up for a great encounter. I was so disappointed a couple of seasons ago when we played Middlesbrough here, when I thought we had an opportunity to go through, and Crosby went out, put a really weak side out, and that was probably one of the most disappointing performances I've ever seen from a Vale side on a cup evening when there was a good crowd in. I was so disappointed with that. I don't think that's going to happen tonight. I think it's a fresh, quality look at the side. I think it's a fresh batch of players with a core understanding of what it means to play for Port Vale. I think that's been installed in this lot. So, hopefully can take it forward against a great Arsenal team. So, you know, it's set up, but I don't buy the fact that they can't be beaten. Of course they can be beaten. Anybody can be beaten. Liverpool nearly got beat last night. So, you know.
Chelsea did.
And so don't say that they can't be beaten, because they can be beaten. We can beat ourselves by being frightened of them. The trick is not to be frightened of them. Take it to them. Stay in the game as long as you can.
That's why he's a Port Vale legend. Phil Sproson is going to be alongside Phil Bowers this evening for the commentary of Port Vale at home to Arsenal in the third round of the League Cup. The last time these two teams met, Perfect Day was top of the UK charts. Titanic, with Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, had just opened at the cinema. It was an FA Cup third round tie that finished 0-0 at Highbury. So Arsenal made their way to Vale Park on a chilly night in January for the replay. It turned out to be an epic night with a bittersweet ending.